So, I'm willing to bet that most of you have never even heard of Starcraft Universe. And the answer as to why might have something to do with the fact that it's not a standalone game. It's a custom game mode for StarCraft 2 that actually had its own Kickstarter campaign to raise funds for its development. And it totally shows. StarCraft Universe is, well, an MMO light? It's not really an MMO, but it sure as shit feels like one. It's a cooperative, loot-driven RPG built off the back of StarCraft 2's engine. Functionally, it plays a lot like WoW, but with its own twists and unique mechanics. You choose one of 8 playable classes, which also determines your race, be it Terran or Protoss, and then are sent out on missions across an entire star map. The gameplay loop consists of picking a planet on that star map, traveling to said planet while random encounters occur on your ship, and then actually disembarking and exploring whatever world it is you set out to. As you play, you'll of course level up, buy and play with new, interesting skills, and find better and better gear. The gameplay itself is actually quite fun. Personally, I found the random encounters while traveling to be a bit much. You barely have any room to breathe because the encounters occur so frequently. You and maybe a couple friends will be frantically running around your ship, trying to put out fires, destroy enemy ships with the onboard turrets, fight off ground units who bore a hole into your hull, and then also manage the ship's systems so your travel time doesn't take 20 real-world minutes. You also can't fix the hull, seemingly, meaning if you take a critical amount of damage, you're better off remaking the lobby than trying to fly to another world and continue your current session, since you'll likely just blow up and waste a bunch of time. But once you actually touch down on the planets, the gameplay opens up, and it gets way more interesting. You can actually take your time to explore, complete quote-unquote Complete quest objectives, find loot, or if you're lucky, explore a full-scale dungeon with multiple paths. Each mission also seemingly has its own unique boss, which are often more mechanically complex than anything you would find in vanilla WoW. This is definitely where the gameplay shines, because you can actually take your time with the mechanics that are on offer here. And this is where it really starts to feel like WoW, or an MMO in general. The tab target oriented combat is a blast, and you have loads of unique abilities to try out. It's honestly a lot of fun to be set loose in these zones, and for a while you might actually genuinely forget that you're playing something built on an RTS engine. Like, that fact alone is insane to me. I can only speculate on how much time and effort it would have taken to implement the mechanics this game mode has. Not only that, but it has real production quality. The voice acting isn't hot trash, and it has its own unique soundtrack. Mechanically, it feels pretty polished and refined, all things considered. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but come on! Think about the limitations that were imposed on the people who made this. I know StarCraft 2 has a powerful editor, but my god. To me, it's just hard to believe that this exists at all and it's not a half-baked mess. Now, I'll admit, I have not played through the whole thing. Maybe it turns into complete garbage in the later half of the game. But to me, just based off my first impressions, if Blizzard had any sense, which I think we all know they don't, they would hire these people to develop an official StarCraft adventure game, or fuck, an MMO. Anyway, I won't bore you with a mountain of details. If you're curious, I'd encourage you to just go check it out for yourself. StarCraft 2 is free, and so is this game mode. So if you and a couple friends are bored one night, maybe give it a shot. You might just find that it's something you can occupy your time with, at least for a little while. I genuinely had a lot of fun, and even if I were to never touch it again, it still makes me smile knowing that this exists.